to the computer. Okay. Hey guys, we are on for our Monday Night Dream Team Zoom. It is March 22nd. I don't know about you, but I feel like once spring peeks its head out, time just starts flying by. And I know it's only been a few days of officially spring, but things have been crazy. So before we hit the ground running, if you were not on the power plan last night, I talked a lot about specific things that you can be doing over the next, starting today, the next 10 days, the last 10 days, I should call it, of March. So I'm not going to rehash all of that. I'm just going to encourage you to go find the recording. It's on the YouTube channel. It's just a bunch of different ideas, because I know a lot of times we're like banging our heads, like, how do we do this? What should we do? I'm doing everything right. And it talks about taking that to the next level, the next step. So I encourage you to watch that if you haven't already. And then I do want to give this a shameless plug. Don't forget, if you are local to me here in Lebanon or within, an hour or whatever away, we have our live in-person local on this Thursday night at the YMCA Event Center, where we used to have them all the time. So I'm super excited and like slightly nervous, because I have not spoke to a group on stage in such a long time. Like, I hope I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be a total dork because I'm like so excited, or if I'm going to like freeze because I don't know what to do, but we'll muddle through it together. But I think it'll be awesome. Obviously it's open for all promoters. It's open for all customers. And then anyone who might maybe possibly think they might want to thrive. I will tell you, make sure people know when they come, there's nothing to buy. Like, they don't need to come in with their wallet or cash in hand. Like, they're not going to leave with product. That's not, we actually did have somebody come one time and they thought they could buy it and take it home. That's not how it works. We're literally just going to be sharing stories and probably, ready for hugs. Yes. And probably canoodling and hugging, because we'll all be so excited to see each other. So that is this Thursday. And I'm probably missing something else I should be updating you on, but I don't want to ramble. So let's dive into the topic tonight. I want to talk about social media, because I know that is a big part of our business. It is not the only part of our business, but it is a big part of our business. And it became even more important during the last year because people were stuck at home. And so I was listening to some podcasts, and they were talking about how, and we've all done it and you've all seen people do it, how suddenly somebody gets so excited about something that they love. Maybe it's the first time you're in love with Thrive and you're talking about it, or maybe they bring out a new product and you're talking about it. And you just, without even trying, you're being salesy, and you're just your posts, your stories, everything you're doing is like salesy, whether you mean to or not. And so basically what they were talking, like every time somebody throws a sale at you or a deal at you or a pitch at you or whatever, you learn to duck. You learn to like, okay, they're coming at me. Here it comes. I'm going to turn my head. I'm going to miss that whole thing that they just, that whole 20% off that they just threw out at me, or that whole, it's the best thing in the whole wide world. Like, we are trained as humans to start missing those things on purpose. If you don't believe me, what if I tell you right now, you have to go to a car lot tomorrow at 1:00 in the afternoon just to look for a car? Would you go? Or would you be like, oh no, I'm going at 9 p.m. when the place is closed, because I don't want people coming at me, right? Like, what that feels like. So, a really good example that they gave that I think speaks even louder, because it's of this time period. There once was a time not that long ago when you got an email, you checked it because it was important. It was information. It was somebody telling you something, somebody letting you know about something important or sharing information with you that you needed. What do you do when your email dings now? I don't check those things. I like scan it and swipe, because more than not, the email is just an advertisement of another sale from another company. I mean, Bath and Body Works, Macy's, like whoever you spend money with or whoever you have randomly Googled, you're getting all these ads for. So email has basically become spam. And think about your mailbox. How excited do you get when it's an actual like invitation or announcement? Like, it's not, we throw away more mail, we recycle it, but we get rid of more mail. I sometimes feel really bad for the mail carrier. I'm like, you had to lug this all around with you, and everything you brought me, I just put in the recycling bin. Because if it's not a bill, which most of our bills come online now, some of them still come to the house, that's joyous. If it's not a bill, it's spam. It's just physical spam. So what I want you to think about is don't let your social media become spam. Because what did we do with the mailbox? We don't check it every day because we don't have stuff that's coming that we care about. What do we do with email? We swipe it away. Because why? Because it's just another ad for another thing we don't need. And so if your social media profile starts to turn into spam, even if you're not like outwardly, fully, truly spamming people, people will learn to start scrolling past and ducking and swiping and getting rid of your face. So how do you go about using social media to tell the world who you are, what you love, and what you do without being spammy? And this I know is going to sound super basic and kind of cheesy, but it's called social media for a reason. You need to be social on social media. So, and I'm also very guilty of this. I will make my post and be like, okay, choo, check. Another post a few hours later, check. Whoa, I'm so busy. I'm doing all my posts today. That's not being social at all. That's just throwing out stuff that I want to talk about. So what I want to challenge you to do, and we can use the chat, you can grab a piece of paper. If you're driving, just use your mind. I want you to think about 3 to 5 things in life that you are super, super smart on. So Laura Wernsman, butterflies, like right away, butterflies. Lisa Wallace Cook, you are the craft queen like none other, right? And these are just things that I know about you from knowing you or knowing your social media. But there's going to be a lot of stuff that you know about that you could easily answer questions about. And that's what we're going to start. That's what you got to start doing. And caterpillars, right? I always think about the pretty part. I mean, not the caterpillars aren't pretty, but like the butterfly is the exciting part. But you're right. I do think the caterpillar part is more important almost because you can't have a butterfly without a caterpillar. Anyway, yeah, Sandra, kindergarten math. And not even just kindergarten math, but communicating with children 5 and under. That's a whole other world, right? 5 and 6-year-old brains. Oh my, that's a lot. So there's lots of stuff that you can talk about. Like, I think, for me, obviously I can talk about training with people, but I can also talk about other things. I'm now very well versed in garbage bin cleaning. I am very well versed in gardening. There's a lot of questions that I can answer. And so instead of obviously I'm going to post about things I know and love. And so the 3 to 5 things that we're identifying, I would be posting about, right? Like what do you see when I talk on Facebook? You see you see flowers, gardens, you see dogs. You see me at Fitness for You doing my thing. And so those are things I can post and share to give people an idea. But how can you take that a step further and really start connecting to people? So I know we've talked about groups, and you can get kind of, niche down, like you can join the butterfly or the caterpillar group. You can join moms of 5-year-olds and dive in there and be like, hey, I dealt with them for 20 some years. Like, let me help you out here. Or what's a much more effective way is to set a timer, I would say for 30 minutes. And you're going to actually go into social media, I'm a bartender that barely drinks. No one wants to hear. I'm a bartender that barely drinks. I'll be honest that I'm struggling with this one. No one wants to hear about embroidery either. Well, how about talking about being a single mom and making shit work? You're an expert at that, Miss Edie. And here's the thing. This is a hard topic for people because it's very hard to identify what you're smart at. It's really, I'm not even saying being smart. Like, it's not like we took a class. It's life experience. What do you know? Like, when people ask me questions about flowers, the only reason I know the answer, I didn't go to school for that. It's because I killed probably 6 years of this one flower. And then finally on the 7th year, I figured out how to keep it alive. So it's life experience that we're talking about. So a bartender that barely drinks, good Lord, you have got to know so much about the human nature, body language. There's no way you worked at the bar and didn't pick up on a lot of stuff, right? And then maybe there's something that you've triumphed in your life. So, maybe somebody's lost a lot of weight. Maybe somebody ran their first ever 5K. Maybe, I don't know, like think of firsts, like things that you have overcome and done. Maybe not even been an expert at it, but you lived the journey to get across the line. Like, for example, Sonia, when you first started driving motorcycles, that's not easy. It looks easy when they go past you on the road, but that's not easy, right? Like you got to take the test. You got to get really good with it. You have to learn your bike. You got to learn your body. So you went over that hurdle and you learned all of those things. Well, you could easily talk to people who are first time motorcycle riders or people who are thinking of buying their first ever motorcycle. Like you have knowledge that you could share of, hey, you know, when I was looking for my first one, this is what I wanted, but this is what I got, and here is why. That's just something to consider. You know, again, I'm not telling you that you're going to be preaching to people. Surviving COVID, yes, hello. Like surviving childbirth, surviving COVID, surviving, I don't know, gallbladder surgery. Laura, you can add that to your list too. Like surviving things that people, everything that you are going through or have gone through, someone is going through or will be going through, right? That's life. It's this whole big circle, right? So what you're going to start doing is actually searching the hashtag or searching the topic. And this will put you into other people, not just groups. This will put you on any kind of public post where someone's talking about that. So, you know, first time Harley or Harley Davidson's for, and I'm picking on Sonia because she's easy to pick on. I know her well enough to pick on her likes and dislikes. You could search that. You could search it on Twitter. You can search it on Instagram, Facebook, whatever the heck you're into. You can search that and just start talking to random strangers. And I know that sounds weird, but is that not what social media is? Are we not talking to random people? We know some of them. We don't know all of them. Okay, funny story to make this point. At like 4 something this afternoon, I was getting ready to go back into work to train clients. And I just happened to look out the window and this beautiful little happy dog was running through my front yard, ran across this window. And I was like, oh snap, I got to go get this dog. Like it can't go to the back where they're doing construction. So I grabbed my phone because I'm thinking I'm gonna have to maybe take a picture of it and put it on Facebook. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this dog. I guess I'm gonna take it to work. All these things are going through my head. I get out the back door. My neighbor also saw it and came out. So we got the dog, super friendly, beautiful. I would have totally kept it, but it had a tag with a phone number. So I did the right thing and called. And so I don't know. I don't even know if the girl told me her name because I was just like, hey, do you have a dog named Coda? And I could tell she was out of breath because she'd probably been outside searching for this dog. She's like, I do. Turns out she doesn't live that far from here, but Coda had definitely had a free run for the night. She pulls in my driveway and she's like, oh my God, Tammy, and I'm like, Battaglia. She's like, yeah, oh my God, yeah, I know you. We're Facebook friends. I do not know her. I don't know her. I do not know her. She kind of looked familiar, but her little girl was crying because she was excited to see the dog. I was late for work, the whole thing. And I was like, oh yeah, so good to meet you. I don't really know who this person is. I'm going to find her in my feed though. But that's the point. Like we're Facebook friends. She knew right away my name. Not my last name, but that's okay. That's a hard one. But so you just never know who you're connecting with at what time, right? And what you're connecting over. Something at some time that I posted, or maybe somebody shared that I posted, or maybe somebody commented and it popped up. She connected to that enough to not just because, you know, sometimes you see that and you're like, oh, that must be Laura's friend that commented. I don't know where she's from. Some people will click on that face and be like, oh, that's Laura's friend. Looks like she lives in her old neighborhood. Maybe they went to school together. Like some people do that stuff, right? So I don't really know what all this girl knows about me, but clearly, thank God I was nice and I wasn't like, get your dog, you know, because I would never be like that about a dog. But anyway, my point is, yes, you're connecting with people. Some of them are strangers completely. Some of them are lukewarm. Clearly, she and I must have mutual friends that we have found each other on the FB. But that's the best way for you to start expanding your network. Because if you think about it, when we go through our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're doing our 3 social media posts a day, and we're like, yes, girl, I did my post, bring on the orders. You're making posts to the same people you've been talking to for years. If you are not constantly making comments and talking to other people, you're not going to grow that network. Now, granted, just because I search, let me think, maybe I search climbing roses and I find a couple of people on public posts saying, I don't know how to prune my climbing rose. Does anybody have advice? And if the post could even be a year or so old, I don't care. I have advice. I actually have a video on YouTube that I absolutely love that I send to anybody if they ask me about it because the guy makes it so simple. And so I could easily just chime in and be like, oh my gosh, I struggled so much the first couple of years with my climbing roses, but then I found this video. It was super helpful. I hope it helps you too. Now, is that going to make an order? No, but it's going to make a connection. And if you just keep being the person who gives and gives and gives and gives and gives and answers and shares and gives and shares, enough giving, you're going to get that back. The best way to receive is to give. And I don't want to get all like religious on you here, but that's the way life works. Whether it's a Jesus or the universe that you like to talk about, the more you give, the more you are going to receive. And so that is how you can use social media. So anytime, and I'm not saying you can't randomly throw in a discount or throw in a product post. I mean, clearly we're still going to do that. But if you are finding that if you went to your Facebook right now and you started to scroll and you thought, dang, aside from Thrive, I don't know anything about this girl. I know nothing. Or I don't know anything that's happened in her life in the last 7 days that's not work related. You got a problem. Like you need to start talking about other things. But then outside of your profile, you've got to start connecting with other people. Like I can guarantee you, if somebody jumped in to my public post about roses and they gave me some really great advice, I'm going to click on their profile. I'm going to find out where they live. Because first I'm going to find out if they're like a serial killer, right? That's the first thing I always do with a stranger on Facebook. I'm like, are they a serial killer? Let's find out everything we know about them. And then when I realized, I actually have this one, her name is Peggy Kelly. She lives down in Georgia. She and I became Facebook friends 3 years ago through the garden group. We share pictures of our gardens all the time. She's the sweetest, nicest old lady I think I've ever met in the whole wide world. But I checked her to make sure she wasn't a serial killer first. And she probably did the same thing for me. But she and I swap information. And so she and I both respect and like each other because we have that shared love. And now because we have that know, like, and trust factor, maybe what I do isn't for her, but what if she's at lunch one day with one of her friends and they're like, I'm really struggling. I'm struggling. And she'd be like, you know what? I have the nicest garden girl that I talk to all the time. And I know this is what she does for a living. You have to think outside of your realm. I will tell you, I should probably start keeping track of this. On an average day, I would say anywhere from 5 to 15 times, depending on how close to the end of the month it is, I will hear the following words. My team's not doing anything. Nobody wants to buy this stuff. I don't know enough people. And that is baloney. Your team is only going to do what you do. If you're not meeting new friends and you're not adding to your connections and you're not putting yourself out there, and you guys, it's not scary to get on some stranger's post and answer a question about something you know and love. Sam's on here. She's a hairdresser. If somebody put on there, oh my gosh, I just fried my hair with my curling iron. Like I literally have a chunk in my hand. What do I do? She could jump in there and give them some soothing comment about, I don't know, basically they're screwed, but whatever, you know what I mean? Like she could jump in. And so they're like, God, and they're going to click that button because they're like, who is this girl? Tell me what to do with my hair. And they're going to see that she has beautiful hair. They're going to see that she's a hairdresser. They're going to see that she likes to go camping, that she has a dog and 2 beautiful children. And they're going to be like, I kind of like this girl. I might start following her. I might start stalking her. What the hell? I might be her Facebook friend. Because remember, we're Facebook friends with people we don't know. The girl showed up in my driveway today. We're Facebook friends. Who knew? Do you guys, are you following me or am I making sense? Like it's one thing to be in groups. It's one thing to make posts. But if you truly want to be intentional with building your network, you are going to have to search hashtags and topics. And you're going to have to bravely go into some stranger's post and answer a question that you actually know the answer to, or that you have some sort of experience with. Like I'm not, so back to Sonia's case, I'm not asking her to be an expert Harley Davidson rider, but she can come from a place of, hey, I just learned how to, I just got my motorcycle license a few years ago too. I remember being so scared and nervous. My best advice is, I don't know, keep your eyes on the road or whatever your best advice would be. Like you don't have to be giving them like, oh, you're going to go at a 30-degree angle on the turn at 40 miles an hour. Like no one's asking for that, but just be a human, be social and share those things. And I promise you, the more you put out there, the more you are going to get back. You will build your network without knowing. I'm going to encourage all of you right now to make your Facebook profiles public. If that makes you want to vomit, remember, you can set posts differently. So I could go on right now and share a very private picture of, say, maybe me and my nephews, and I can make it for friends only. Not everyone has to see that. But the majority of my Facebook social media life in general is for business. So it's going to be me, but I want people to find me. And so how can I make sure that people find me? Well, if you are interacting with strangers and answering questions on topics that you know and love, and giving and giving and giving, you're going to find people, and people are going to find you. So I missed a ton of comments. I met several friends that I met in a women's running group I never met in person. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So Sonia has this really cute, did you show them the cup? Do you have it by you? Okay. She has this really neat cup with her name on it that a girl made for her. It's just a friend from a Facebook group that they connected. So tell me that even if that lady is not a thriver herself, she obviously knows, likes, and trusts Sonia enough to make her a cup and mail it to her. If
She's a thriver now.
Oh, see? Right there. That's it. That's it. So, but again, she met her through a group. And I know we've talked about groups. I'm talking about different ways to find other people. And it's a little scarier because it's just random people. But you guys, random people are what will make your business go around. Your friends and family are not obligated to make your business work, nor do they want to be. I have, I don't know, 1,000,007 cousins just in town with me. If they all started a business tomorrow and they all expected family to support them, yeah, I can't afford that, nor am I going to be into that many different things. So don't rely on people you already know. Don't rely on your family. Rely on strangers to make the world go around. I can guarantee most of the purchases in your home, you do not know who made it or who designed it or whose company it came from. I can guarantee it came from a stranger. So think about that. Sandra, got to talk to her friend today from high school. She graduated a year ahead of me that I seriously haven't seen since high school days. Yes, connecting with your past. Edie, I have a potential for tomorrow from high school that I reached out about being proud of her for her career. Yeah, again, we are talking to people about their life. It's only when you get to know them that you're going to realize and help them realize that you have something to help them. Lisa, with your social media, do something that creates value, make them want to see what you're doing. Absolutely. And that's my point. When you answer people's questions, when you chime in, when you give them support, when you do whatever, that is giving them something, not asking for something. If you're always saying Thrive is the greatest, let me send you, for us, we're like, oh, let me send you a sample. We're giving. Okay, you're not giving freely, right? You're giving a sample because you want to make a thriver. That's like giving a donation to church and then getting a billboard to be like, I give money to God. That's not how it works, right? You have to give freely and openly. And that's why I say set a timer. Like literally get in the mind space of I'm going to go help as many people answer as many questions as I possibly can about X topic, whatever. Remember, 3 to 5 things that you know, life experience know, or you're educated in or trained in. And that's what I'm going to do for the next 30 minutes. And they're going to be random strangers and it's going to make my heart pound. And I'm going to want to vomit a little, but I'm just answering questions that they have openly put out on social media because they need answers. It's not as scary as it sounds. I promise it is going to expose you to a whole world of people. But remember, when you set the timer and do it, just be focused on the task. Don't answer 15 questions and then stare at your Facebook and be like, do I have 15 new friends? Did anybody place an order? That's not how it works. Put the activity in and then move on to the next activity, but just be focused on that task and let that effort and that energy come back to you. Sandra says, make your Pinterest. Yeah, make your Pinterest and IG public /business also. Again, when we have these get-togethers like this, I know I'm talking to people who want to build a business because why? Because it is 7, almost 8 o'clock on a Monday night and you're here. You could be watching TV, you could be doing laundry, you could be making a million excuses, or maybe you're taking the time to watch the replay, which also means you want to build a business because you could be watching Netflix, right? Make your stuff public. Don't call me and say you don't have any orders and you don't know anybody and no one on your team is doing anything and you can't grow your team when your stuff's not public, because you're right. That would be like Nike having a Facebook, but being like, no, you have to work for us. If you want to see our Facebook, you already have to work for Nike. Well, that's not going to grow the business any, right? That's not going to help anybody anywhere. So again, yes, I know there are creepers out there in the world. If you have precious pictures of babies or whatever, maybe personal moments, maybe your family vacation, you don't have to share everything public. You can set the posts individually to be for friends, but keep your profile public, like let it be out there. On IG, that's the only way hashtags can be searched if they're public, or if you're public. Right. So you're saying if I search the hashtag, the only person that's going to pop up is if their profile is public. Yes, yes, yes. I got it. I got it. I thought you meant, I don't know. I got confused at first. Um, and there's a bunch of other places in the world that people go for information. They're not all as pretty and smooth, obviously, as Facebook. There's these really, really old things called chat rooms. And I know they have a bad connotation because some stuff goes down in chat rooms. But if you go to like regular ones, that doesn't happen. Um, and so Twitter is a place that people go. I'm having a brain fart. It used to be really business like. LinkedIn. You can go to LinkedIn. You can just go to Google and type in some search words too and see who's talking about what and where are they talking about it at, and chime into those. On YouTube, people that make comments on the video, if there's a video about something that you love, like I'm going to pick on Laura again, because again, it's easy because I know her well enough. If you were to go to and watch like a caterpillar video from some amazing butterfly lady, and you go through and you read the comments, people are going to ask questions in the comments about the video, and you can even chime in and answer some things. And you would be perfect for that, because I miss details of stuff, but you don't. And like, I might ask a question and you'd be like, oh, at minute 1.32, she addresses blah, blah, blah. Like I could just totally see you doing that. So I think we talk a lot about Facebook because a lot of people are on there, but there's a whole world and they're using all kinds of different platforms, and you can be helpful and useful. And so I don't want you to spend 24 hours a day just freely answering questions and being, sunshine and rainbows to everybody, but you can set a timer for 30 minutes a day and do that and expand your network slowly but surely. And again, if you do that on a regular basis, don't just do it tomorrow and then don't be like, oh, I missed 3 days, so I'm going to sit here and answer questions for 3 hours, because trust me, your answers are going to start sucking after the first 30 minutes. Just consistently set your timer and spend time answering and being helpful to people. And then in the same token, like Lisa was saying, when you are making your Facebook post, be useful. Like make somebody want to be like, wonder what she's doing today. Like Sandra was doing, bless you, right when I said your name, you sneezed. Sandra was doing recipes, and like she was getting people being like, wait, what are you making this week? Like, what are you teaching us this week? Because again, when you go into Facebook, or wherever you like to go, you are going in there because you want to be entertained. Right? I don't log on to Facebook to buy stuff. If I want to buy something, I go into a search engine and I type in what I want to buy. Or if I want to, or sometimes I need to go on Pinterest to buy stuff. But for Facebook, for Snapchat, for TikTok, stuff like that, like I get annoyed on TikTok. When a girl is trying to sell me something on TikTok, I'm like, no, man, bring me back the cute little baby calf that is jumping around and wants its mama's bottle. Like I get annoyed on TikTok. I don't go there. And you guys think about it. That's why new social platforms come out all the time. We ruined the regular mail. We've ruined email. We ruined MySpace way back when. We are trying to ruin Facebook. We're trying really hard to ruin Instagram. So Instagram, like people get mad because they're like, oh, they changed the algorithm. They're doing it on purpose so that you can't ruin it. If Facebook didn't change the algorithm and they let everybody that's trying to sell stuff on Facebook be on there, none of us would be on there. We would have left it a long time ago. So be social, be something that people look forward to, share things that share stuff with meaning. You don't have to like go into your deep, dark vault if you don't want to, but share stuff that means something to you. Yes, I know the desperation of some days where you're like, I've just been busy and I haven't made a post, and I'm going to look for this one leader on Facebook who she's killing it. She's like $1 million leader and people must love her. So I'm just going to copy and paste her stuff. They love her, not you. That's not going to help them love you. Right? And this has all happened to us. Have you met someone in real life who is legitimately nothing like what they are on social media? Right? Don't do that to yourself. Use your own words. You guys, you can pretty much guarantee if I put a post out and it is actually punctuated correctly and all the words are spelled correctly the first time around before Laura sends me a message and says I've spelled something wrong, it's not me. I've copied and pasted that shit. There's no way. My brain goes faster than my fingers and words come out all wrong. If you've ever been in a private message with me, you know that, because I have to auto-correct in myself a million times. But I would rather people love me for the fact that I can't spell a damn thing, but I mean what I say, than, oh, I made a jazzy post that somebody else made 6 months ago. Like people can sniff that out. Like it's okay every blue moon if you're desperate, but at least change up the wording. Don't share it the same day someone shared it, because then it definitely looks like a ad. Anyway, I'm kind of getting off my mark here. So I want you to really think 3 to 5 things that you are educated in, trained on, or you have lived through. Put those topics on a sheet of paper and keep it next to your phone or your computer, and set a timer for 30 minutes a day. Search those topics and just start answering questions. Like, I think one of the greatest examples I've ever heard, I've talked about him before, but Gary Vee, if you guys aren't following Gary Vee, you're listening to some of his stuff, he's amazing. He flat out has said that back in the day, before he became Gary Vee, when he was trying to build his dad's wine company, he would go onto, I don't know what it was at the time, honestly, what social media platform, but he would type in what wine goes with fish, what wine goes with chicken, and he would go find all the people asking that question, and he would answer them. He would answer them. He wasn't selling them wine, but he became the expert because he answered enough people and gave enough. And then it became like, oh, how do you know that? Oh, well, my dad owns a wine store. Oh, well, here's the one that we like, blah, blah, blah. And it turns into something, but it has to start from a genuine giving place if you want it to really be, I mean, you guys know what I'm saying. You offer a sample because you want to sell it, and then you sell it and then they disappear, right? Versus the person who has watched you, asked you questions, disappeared, continued to watch you, tried to sneak in and make an account without telling you, but you got the email, like, right? Like, you know that. And those people have thrived for years. So it can be quick and easy money that goes away, or it can be a long-term business where you have a great big network of people. And I can guarantee you, the bigger network, the longer your business is going to last. So Sandra says, I'm fixing to go live to make it oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for me really quick before we get off here? I don't want to keep you too long. Remember, if you missed the power plan last night, I gave you a lot of specific ideas of things that you could do in the next 10 days. And those of you that were on there with me last night, are you going to be able to get your big red X by the end of the day? Did you take your new goals? Okay, I got a thumbs up. I got a wave. I got some. Okay. All right. That's exciting. Okay. All right. You guys are the greatest. I'll see you next week. Bye.